Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Let's take a walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hey you guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. We got another one we're going to do that Nate sent. This is Renegade Brewing Company. This is their Hammer and Sickle Russian Imperial Stout. This one comes in at 9% alcohol. Again, no dating on the can. And this is not, this is another one of those shrink wrap labels that they're doing on the silver cans. That's probably cheaper, like I said, than actually printing the cans, individual cans up for their beer, where they can just heat shrink the labels onto them. But still, as far as I'm concerned, it needs to have at least a year on these big Imperial Stouts. So we'll have a reference to how long to store it and how long it's been in the cans. So that is the biggest problem I have with the beers that we've done that he has sent so far. And then, like I told you yesterday, this is not Nate's fault. I mean, he doesn't control that. Nate, thank you, sir, for sending all these beers to me. I do appreciate getting to try some of these that are definitely not available here. Some are going to be winners and some are not. So, with that being said, let's get on with this one and see what this one's about. Like I said, they're out of Boulder. I think they're out of Boulder, Colorado. Renegade Brewing. They're out of, it says Denver, Colorado, which is right beside Boulder. And this wish they would put a little bit more information on these, especially since they're not printing up individual cans and they're printing up these little heat shrink labels that they heat shrink onto the cans after the beer is put in them, or even before the beer is put in them, possibly. I don't know what that process is, whether they do it after it's canned or before it's canned. But anyway, at least a year on these Imperial Stouts would help. I mean, absolutely not critical like an IPA to know how long it's been in the can, because it's a 9%er and it's going to keep for a long time, but it's nice to have that reference point to know how long it's been in the can. So, that's all I'm going to say about that, guys. There is no commercial description here, and there is no commercial description on either site there. So, we'll go straight over to the food pairings on this beer. Food pairings for the Russian Imperial Stout. It says general, chocolate, dessert, digestive. So you can drink this before dinner, during dinner, or even after dinner, or even with chocolate desserts, according to what they're saying. I don't drink a lot of stouts with my desserts, but you could. I mean, I know people that put ice cream in their stouts, make a float out of it. So, depending on how sweet it is and how much alcohol or booziness it has, guys. Glassware to pint, becker, the Nonic tumbler, snifter. I got the double glass for this one today. And the beer can be sold for long periods. So, being a 9%er, absolutely can. So, speaking of can, let's pop a top on this one. And get it in the glass. 9%, I think we'll get any head. Let's pour it down the center on this one. Yeah, we'll go ahead and give it just a tad. Alright guys, not quite a finger of head, maybe 3/4 of a finger. Over into the light, there is none. It's pitch black, guys, like most Russian Imperial Stouts are. I mean, you get that rich, dark color from the high ABV and the malts that they use, and several things. I mean, there are some stouts that I can see through that I've had, and there are some porters, which most of them I can see through, but I've had some that you could not. So it all depends on the brewer and what malts he's wanting to use in his particular beer. So Looks pretty good in the glass. Let's get a nose on it. Wow, now this has got a real nice, sweet, chocolatey, roasted malt smell. I'm getting a little bit of cocoa in there. Maybe a hint of some dark fruit. It's got a wonderful aroma, not getting any of that 9% in the nose here. Well, this smells like the best one so far. So let's give it a taste, see what we got. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Nate. This is very good. This is delicious. Oh yeah. Very balanced. Not overly bitter on the back end, not boozy. Very nice Russian Imperial Stout. This may be the first one I've had from Renegade that I can recall. This is tasty. Very nice. I like this. I like this a lot. Guys, this is right out of the fridge, 40 degrees. I'm sure it's just going to get a little better as it warms up to room temperature. It's already leaving a nice lacing on the glass. Very impressed with how balanced this beer is. Man, the chocolate and the roasted malt, caramel and the brown sugar and the dark fruit. No alcohol. Very well made beer. It's a 9%er too. Stick around. We'll let it warm up. Let her taste it. We'll come back and do the final chug on this one. This one looks a lot better than what we've done the last couple of days. Very nice. Be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. This is very tasty. Man, everything that you want in a Russian Imperial Stout is in this. Maybe except for a little bourbon, for a bourbon barrel aged version, which this is not. So we're going to grade it accordingly. Final chug. This is delicious. 9%, no alcohol taste, cocoa, chocolate, some dark fruit in there, hint of coffee, brown sugar, toffee, caramel, a nice hot balance, not too bitter, not too sweet, very enjoyable. The only downgrade is not having at least a year on this, so we'll know when it was put in the can, guys. But it's not that critical on this type of beer. So, but that, like I said, this beer will keep for 10 years or more if you sell it correctly. So, can't really hack on them too much for that, but I would like to see at least a year, so we know when it was put in a can. So that's all I'm going to say about that, because this is not that critical of a beer to have a dating on it, but I would like to see the year anyway. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's an A beer. That's an A minus. It would probably get to 9 if it had a year on it, or some kind of dating on the bottom of the can, but it is what it is. Not that critical on this style of beer and that big of an alcohol beer. So a nice A beer for a change, considering we hadn't had one in a couple of days. So very tasty. Nate, thanks a bunch for sending this one. This was very enjoyable. I enjoyed this one a lot. Let's see what everybody else thinks on this one. We'll go over to Beer Advocate first. Beer Advocate says 88, which is in the very good range. It is a very good beer. I think that number is a tad low. If I was putting a numeric rating on this, it would probably be between 92 and 94. Very tasty. Very, very tasty. So, with that being said, let's go over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says 94 overall, which is exactly where I would put it. But they only give it 45 in the style, so I disagree with that number wholeheartedly. It is a better beer than that. So, and they average all this stuff out from people that like it and didn't like it and all that. So it averages out, but more importantly, it is an A beer, guys. So if you can get your hands on the Renegade Brewing's Hammer and Sickle Russian Imperial Stout, definitely worth picking up if you're into that style. a very nice Russian Imperial Stout. So, with that being said, let me know if you've had this one. Give me some comments back on this one, guys, and let's take that walk tomorrow and see what's in the fridge. See you then.